Hello, I'm so glad that you are joining me here in my home and you are in your home. I hope that you had a great week. Have you ever wondered what your life is going to be like when you grow up? Maybe you have picked out what you'd like to do for a job. Have you picked out what you'd like to do for a job? I know that when I was little, I went through a couple of different phases, but one that was very clear to me is I wanted to be a marine biologist. And the reason why I wanted to be a marine biologist is because I thought that marine biologists got to just play around the ponds and in the mud and look at all the plants that grew around them. I thought that that's what they got to do all day. So that's what I thought that I wanted to be. Little did I know that actually marine biologists work in the ocean. But I was living out in western Kansas at the time, and there are no oceans out there, are there? No, not at all. Did you know that God already knows and has a plan for your life and what He's going to have for you? Did you know that? He does. And He has a promise about it in His Word. We've been learning a lot about God's promises for us. Let's read about it. We're going to be in Jeremiah, which is in the Old Testament, chapter 29 and verse 11. And that verse says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Wow, what a promise. So God promises that He does have a plan for us, and it's a plan that is going to be a good one for us. Prosper means good things, right? If you think back to the story of Job, Job was very prosperous at the beginning and at the end of the story. He had a lot of healthy children, a big family that loved him. He had lots of land and lots of cattle and livestock. And there was plenty to eat. He was very prosperous. That's what that's called. And so God says that He has plans for us that are to prosper us. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to grow up and be very wealthy, but it means that God is promising to take care of our needs as we grow and get older. Now, have you been taken care of so far? Do you have clothes on and a nice place to sleep? And did you eat something today? Yeah, because your parents or guardians are caring for you. And God is caring for you even more than that. Wow. So let's read our verse again. Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This is a great verse to memorize so that you can have it with you at any time for the rest of your life. And any time that you're feeling uncertain about the future, you can remember the verse and say it over and over again in your head. And that will just reassure you of the promises that God has for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.